Hello, everybody. Art Ekman along with David Bailey and Davey Coombs bringing you the action from Budds Creek, Maryland. Our 5th round of AMA Motocross on the season. Practice day yesterday was beautiful. Last night it started raining, and this morning it looked more like a monsoon type situation as we take a look at the 125 riders getting ready at the gate. Tire selection, a big item here today, David.
Well, obviously it's going to be a mud tire, that's for sure. And going from the cement, and normally you spin, but once they get out over the cement and into the mud, they're going to keep on spinning. The whole shot has never been more important than today.
It's the kind of day mechanics become stars, drying off the starting cement for their riders. Ricky Carmichael comes in after dominating, winning the first 4 events of the season. Tallon VOHLAND in 2nd place. Let's go down now to Davey Coombs, who's at the starting gate. Davey.
We are about to see an old-fashioned mud race. I'm down here on the starting gate, first 125 motor getting ready to go off. You're not going to believe how bad the dirt is here. There is inches of mud here at Budds Creek. This is what Ricky Carmichael's line looks like off the start. But you know what? Everyone says the same thing. If Carmichael can, in fact, get the start, he's going to keep on rolling.
Let's take a look at the track map.
Well, here's the layout. What you can't see is how bad the conditions are out there. There's the old start, used to go up the hill. Now it's over to the right, a shorter start, a cement starting pad. The layout's pretty much the same. Let's take a look at this off-camber section earlier this morning from the helmet cam. This is when he dropped down the hill. Riders drift all the way to the bottom, try to use that berm, or you can try to cut up across the inside. Now that it's rained, that section is just like an ice rink. It's going to be impossible to get through that corner on the inside.
All bets are off, David, as we take a look at the Suzuki starting grid. Ricky Carmichael, our points leader, but Tallon VOHLAND is hanging close. Michael Brandes from the Primal Suzuki team. Casey Lytle, Honda of Troy. Broc SELLARDS FMF. Nathan Ramsey of Pro Circuit. And as we take a look at the other riders in the 40-rider field, note that Stefan Roncada of Yamaha of Troy is back in the lineup for the first time since the opener at Glen Helen. Buddy Antonez, the Arena Cross champion, is doing better and better here in the outdoor season.
Art, I'm still wondering why Roncada picked today to come back. I might just leave that bike in the semi.
Well, garbage bags are the important wardrobe of the day. If you don't have a slicker like these fans, 15,000 now watches. The gate drops for moto number 1 in the 125s. Ricky Carmichael, a slow start. Number 16, Casey Johnson gets the whole shot. Oh, look out. Number 1 is involved. Ricky Carmichael picking his bike up.
What a mess. Brandes is stuck in that. Look at that rider over to the right. No visor, covered in mud. Can't even tell who that is. Carmichael trying to get going.
Finally, Ricky Carmichael is off and running, but it's Casey Johnson, number 16, out in front with the early lead.
Boy, if you ever wanted to get the whole shot, this is the day to do it.
Johnson coming off a 13th place at Southwick, trying to redeem himself after top 5 performances in the first 3 races.
Look how dirty everybody is. Casey comes by all clean. Matt Walker, then number 80. Great start for him. He's not looking too bad after that great ride in Southwick. A little confidence going, but look at everyone else. It's not even going to be that difficult riding the track. These guys know how to ride mud. Most of them do anyways. But just trying to see where you're going, Art, it's just about impossible unless you're a leader.
David, we see a lot of mud on top, but they were telling me during practice that it's very slick underneath the mud.
That's because it's got a pretty hard-packed base. Watch number 27, Sellards. He's going to try to get on the brakes. He can't stop. He just runs into everybody. He comes out smelling like a rose, but look at this pileup. I don't know if he really was entirely responsible for causing it, but...
Michael Brandes, number 49 right there as we switch back to our leader, Casey Johnson, number 16. Casey setting a very good pace for the conditions.
You know, he is, but what worries me is his goggles are already gone. Not even a full lap in the books. You can see the rain coming down, no goggles. That's, it looks good right now, but he's got another half hour to ride in these conditions, and the roost you're going to get off other bikes isn't that much worse than the roost your own front tire kicks up. So he's got trouble ahead, I have a feeling.
Matt Walker now starting to pull up to fairly close to our leader, number 16, Casey Johnson. Walker out of southern Georgia, riding as an independent.
I think if I were Matt right here, I'd stay pretty close, but stay just outside of that roost. Why get up close enough to get all that in the face? Save your goggles and wait for Casey to find all the deep water and the bad spots. Learn from him. After the first lap, all those riders go through and establish the best line. Then it's pretty easy to choose.
Matt Walker starting to put some heat on our leader. Casey Johnson over the jump. Here's Matt Walker, number 80. Whoa, Casey Johnson goes down. Matt Walker inherits the lead. What a great break for that young man. Planet Honda's Jason McCormick makes the pass. Now into the lead. There goes Broc Sellards, number 27. So Casey Johnson will end up in 4th place after going down. Walker, McCormick, Sellers, Johnson. We'll be right back with more 125 Moto 1 action after these words. AMA Motocross is brought to you by Honda Motorcycles and the 1999 Honda Race Team. Honda, ride red. We are back at Budds Creek Motocross Park in Budds Creek, Maryland. Our new leader is Matt Walker, number 80. He's an independent rider. His friends and family from McRae, Georgia, they must be having heart attacks right about now. Well, look at there. That's part of the group. Walker is our new leader.
Seems like ever since he got to spend some time riding with Ezra and Carmichael that week off before Southwick, he's been a new guy. He went to Southwick, his best finish ever, and here he is leading a moto. What a turnaround.
Good 3rd place opening moto last race at Southwick. Let's take another look now.
This is how he got the lead, right in front of him. Casey Johnson finding the water puddle a little bit too deep, sends him off the high side. Remember here, who would want to take a parade lap in these conditions, but they didn't get one. So Casey was the first one to find out how deep that was, but too deep to handle.
Broc Sellards currently in 3rd, but look at who is in the shot now on the left side of your picture. That's Tallon VOHLAND, number 711. He's already passed Casey Johnson, moving into 4th. Significant point here, David Bailey, as Carmichael is way back, and VOHLAND 2nd in points behind Carmichael.
Well, he's in 4th. I guess it's safe to say Carmichael hasn't even cracked the top 20 yet. Probably will by the end of the race unless he has more problems, but he's definitely going to take a chunk out of the points lead.
Smoke coming, or steam coming from VOHLAND's machine as he goes through the water. Here's Broc Sellards, number 27.
I have a feeling VOHLAND right there going through the shot is could potentially be the best mud rider out here, or one of the best, maybe even a little bit better than Carmichael. So he's going to have a big advantage here today, not just from having that start, but in the 2nd moto as well. He's pretty used to these conditions.
First GP race of the year in Spain last year. A downpour. He took a 3rd overall. Said it doesn't bother him one iota to run in the rain. He's on the follow of Broc Sellards. Let's go down to the mechanics area now. Davey Coombs. Davey.
Well, once again, I can't begin to tell you how bad it is down here in the pit area. But I tell you, 2 races come to mind as the muddiest races ever. Number 1 would be High Point in 1997. We saw Damon Bradshaw get that shocky win. And the other one is also at High Point in 1983. And if I remember correctly, that's when David Bailey had that big battle with Bob Hanna. How'd you end up, David?
Not so good. Hanna won that one. The first moto was okay. The 2nd moto rained and ended up getting through some water. The throttle started sticking. It was an awful day. It's important to take care of the motor. Is that Walker pulled?
That's like Matt Walker. He's pulled off the track. I wonder if the dampness got to his gearbox or something.
It looks like he's starting to have problems now. So that's the rider's responsibility out there on the racetrack, is to dodge those deep ruts, to try to keep the chain on the sprockets, also to stay out of all the standing water. That can cause a lot of problems out there.
Our new leader, Jason McCormick out of Vancouver, Washington. Little used to the rain up there in the Pacific Northwest.
He's showing it right now. He's riding like it's dry. Most of the time, the more aggressive you are in the mud, the better off you are. Even if you fall a couple times, you just make up more time. You keep the knobbies cleaned out and find traction.
Let's go back to the mechanics area and see what Davey has in mind.
All right, Paul, this is what you guys have been waiting for all year long. You got a mud race. You got Jason McCormick out front. How you feel?
Oh, it's awesome. I mean, we knew he's a good mud rider. He just needed to get a start, and now we just need to wait for the white flag to come out. It's going to seem like an eternity, but as long as he keeps it on 2 wheels, he's got a real good pace going.
What is the strategy in a race like this? I know you used to be a pro. You're from Colorado, a lot of bad weather. I mean, what can you do to prepare yourself?
Yeah, you know, I mean, there's a lot of things that go on behind the scenes with goggles and hanging racks from your waist, and running the proper tire pressure, and just knowing how to ride in the mud. I always loved the mud myself, and obviously keeping it on 2 wheels. You need to be just aggressive enough to go fast, but not riding over the edge and end up on the ground, because then you obviously lose a lot of time and your hands are wet and everything else. So we'll see what happens.
Paul's exactly right. There's a balance. You've got to be aggressive, no doubt, but you can be too cautious. The first time I ever rode in a mud race, I was trying to be so careful. I had guys that had crashed 3 or 4 times and still beat me in the race because they were making up more time than I was.
Really looks strenuous, trying to keep the balance and the power going up a hill like that.
Well, there's a lot more body English involved in staying in the right line and trying to find traction. The more you move around, the more you get that tire to bite into something that gets you a little bit of traction.
There's the 2-time defending 125 champion here at Budds Creek, Ricky Carmichael. Let's go to his mechanic.
Oh man, Chad, I know that's not what you want to have happen on a start. What's the strategy now?
Survival right now. I mean, it's a long race, and unfortunately he went down the first turn, so just be patient and just try to get some points out of it. I mean, luckily right now we have quite a big points lead, so you never want to sacrifice some, but we're in a position where we can sacrifice a few in a condition like this.
We mentioned Ricky Carmichael has won the last 2 races here at Budds Creek. Steve Lamson is the winningest 125 rider at Budds Creek with 3 consecutive victories. The 2, Ricky and Lamson, are tied for 2nd place in the all-time 125 Nationals win list. They both have 20 victories.
It's not looking like Ricky's going to add to that list today anyway. He's got no goggles right now and still a long ways to go to getting the points.
Jason McCormick still our leader. We'll be right back. Welcome back to our 5th round of AMA motocross action on the season from Budds Creek, Maryland. Here's our leader, Jason McCormick, number 36. From Planet Honda, he's done a nice job holding on to the lead after Matt Walker went off the track and Casey Johnson spilled in the water hole.
Look how aggressive he is, just charging everywhere. So is Sellards right here. You can barely see his number. See front number pretty good. That's because it's still raining.
Back to the battle for 2nd place, Broc Sellards and Tallon VOHLAND, number 711.
Pretty good for the scores right now. You see the rain coming down. As soon as that rain stops, that mud gets sticky and you won't be able to see anything.
If there was ever a day that called for electronic scoring systems, right now would be the time. Jason McCormick, our leader, Broc Sellards in 2nd place, Tallon VOHLAND in 3rd. Tallon VOHLAND is helped out by his brother Tyson, and let's go back down to Davey.
Tyson, all along, you and Town have been saying, just be patient, be consistent, the breaks will come to you. This might be your motto.
I'm hoping so. He got through the first turn. That's what we were praying for. He's in 3rd. He's just riding smooth. Now, it's a long race. Anything can happen. So I just want him to stay up, get that top 3 this moto, and take it to the 2nd moto. Anything can happen out here today, and we're going to try to be consistent.
Are you going to tell him where Ricky's at?
I've already done that.
That's another thing. How do you keep the board dry enough to have the rider read it? 711 Tallon VOHLAND, currently in 3rd place, looking very, very strong. Jason McCormick, our leader, as we take a look at the Suzuki summary. Sellards, VOHLAND, Johnson, Danny Smith has moved into 5th place, another FMF rider behind Casey Johnson.
These conditions are just awful. I mean, I've seen worse, but geez, this is the worst I've seen in a long time. The last time I was in a muddy situation like this, they cut the race short. Once they got past the halfway point, they kind of asked everyone on the starting line, look, there's a chance we might not be able to score. Is that cool with everybody if we just checkered flag it right there? And everyone agreed. I won it. And as soon as I won, Jeff Ward and Kawasaki started complaining. Well, maybe we were still catching them. We had a chance. But,
good story, David.
Yeah, you just never know what's going to happen in these conditions. Bikes fail. Guys can't see. They get mud in their eyes, water. Look at the line. It's a 6-inch wide line you got to hit every time, or else you end up in just mud and water.
Up to 22nd now. Ricky Carmichael trying to make the best of a bad situation. Looking back, he has no goggles.
He doesn't care what's behind him.
Looks like Nick Way behind him. I'm not sure in the mud, but it looks like Nick Way.
He's just dodging from the roost in front of him. Look, Nick Way right there doing the same thing, and he has goggles.
Oh, that's Nathan Ramsey. My mistake. Oh, no. From the joy of leading the race to the frustration of a mechanical. Let's go down, check in with Davey.
You're not going to believe this, guys. Right when Jason McCormick came up to the mechanics area in the lead, getting ready to get his first national moto win, the bike seized. You can see Paul Lindsay trying to work on it. Right here to our left, you see Jason, very disappointed. He may not have had it in the bag, but he certainly was on the way. What a heartbreak.
That reminds me, who's going to push it back to the truck under those conditions?
Oh, you couldn't pay me enough money. it won't roll. I mean, it's going to take 2 guys to get that thing back to the truck, and then you got to start working on it.
So you see here, we've got a battle for the lead now. Broc Sellards and Tallon VOHLAND. VOHLAND's right where he wants to be.
See Sellards reaching up to pull that roll-off strip, reaching up there again. I mean, every 100 yards or so, or even less sometimes, your vision is ruined. You can see from our camera even, it's a little bit messed up, and that's nowhere near the riders.
You think guys like Johnny O'Mara of Oakley and Vivo Forte of Scott USA don't have a job here today servicing all these goggles, roll-offs and tear-offs?
That'll be a mess. Plus, they got to make a lot of extras. They'll probably be involved in some of the pit stops. These guys get new ones.
Okay, Davies with a very depressed Jason McCormick.
Oh man, Jason, I don't know what to say. I can't believe your bike just seized like that.
You know, the thing's been running good all day. Brent, my mechanic, you know, and FMF, they worked real hard getting my bike dialed. It's the fastest it's ever been. It's been good. It's fortunate that the thing had to seize. We had a good moto. The bike locked up on me right after the finish line, and they caught. But then I got back in the groove once I got going, started pulling away, and I just have no luck.
That was a fantastic effort. I don't know what to say.
Well, you know, always got to look on the bright side. You know, this happens, and this is 4 races now, or 5 races now without no points, and we can't have it.
Hang in there.
Oh, well, thanks.
What a bummer for this young Planet Honda team. They've tried so hard very quickly to get that team underway in 1 year. Broc Sellards, our leader. We asked Broc about mud riding before the race.
So yeah, I mean, I've raced in the mud my whole life, you know, High Point and all them races. We've had many, many mud races, so just another day. Hopefully get a start, that's what it's all about.
Well, he's right where he wants to be. Broc Sellards out in front of Tallon VOHLAND, but it's been a moment of survival for our leaders, staying on 2 wheels. Tallon has been very patient and effective. Watching the leaders just drop by. He goes by a lapper right there who's messing in the mud. Let's go back down to Davey now for a comment.
We're about halfway through the first moto down here in the pit area for the 125 National first moto. I can't believe the carnage. We saw Jason McCormick's bike seize. We saw Carmichael go down a heap in the first turn. One thing remains true though, like Broc Sellards said, he knows how to ride in the mud, and that's what it takes for this race. Good start, bad start. You got to be a mud rider. Broc Sellards might win his first national moto, although we just said that about Jason McCormick.
Well, maybe you can keep on saying it, because if Tallon VOHLAND should win the overall, it'll be his first national victory. Oh, Tyler Evans with all kinds of problems off the track. 2 FMF riders battling it out for the lead, though. Broc Sellards, number 27, and Tallon VOHLAND right behind him. FMF guys got to be smiling right now, but anything can happen.
And we saw Matt Walker go off the track right there, so you got to be smart out there on the racetrack, save the motorcycle.
Buddy Antonez has moved up to 5th place. As we take a look at the top 10, we'll be right back with the finish of Moto 1 after these words. We're back at Budds Creek. What a phenomenal race under these conditions, as you can see. It just poured down all morning long, and these are the 125s in the first moto of the afternoon, and we've got a battle for first place going on amongst teammates. They're from FMF Honda, the support team for Team Honda. It's Broc Sellards out in front, but Tallon VOHLAND very close. Whoa, off camber. Tallon VOHLAND, little touch, slid into him. We've got a new leader. And for once, we've got a new leader that didn't go down.
I don't think Tallon meant to go in there and bump into him. He just slid into him. Looked like Sellards got a little bit offline. He was fishtailing around the back end a little bit. Tallon took advantage of it on the inside. It's a good thing, because he's got no goggles, and I was beginning to wonder about the strategy of following Broc so closely. He's right in that line of fire in the roost. Look at Sellards sliding around, can't get to the berm. Tallon comes in there and uses Sellards for a berm. Didn't knock him down. I don't think they're going to be upset with each other. It was just kind of the way it turned out. Carmichael just hating it right now.
He's still in the 20s after that slow start. You see there, number 22.
I bet his jersey weighs 20 pounds. Just everything you're wearing, your helmet gets heavy, your outfit, it affects the way you ride the motorcycle.
Tallon VOHLAND's opportunity now to pick up a bushel basket of points on Ricky Carmichael as he leads this first moto from Budds Creek. Broc Sellards is right there, and look at Casey Johnson recovering well.
I think that's an understatement. I can't believe how well he's come back from no goggles, going down the first lap. Amazing he's been able to catch these guys with no vision since lap 1. At least these guys got about 10 minutes of the race behind them before they lost their goggles.
Final lap, the white flag lap underway now for Tallon VOHLAND. Can he hold on for his second moto win of the year?
Looking good for him right now. He said he's just going to be patient each week. He kept talking about what it was going to take. Look at that roost.
Oh.
He's got to turn his head completely around. And
Fonseca down. Ernesto Fonseca was up in the top 7 when he went down. Well, there's a happy fan.
Goggles? I don't need no stinking goggles.
Good detergent advertisement right there.
Oh, he wants to get muddy. These guys are trying to stay out of it. He's trying to find more. Okay, our trivia question this week. Name the rider on the left. Just kidding. That's Casey Johnson, but this is the difference. That's the shot on the right was yesterday in practice. Beautiful conditions. Couldn't ask for better. And today, downpour and just ruin this entire facility. Beautiful place to watch racing. And still a lot of people out here to watch it, but it sure has changed the face of.
More than 15,000 fans have stayed with their umbrellas and rain gear to watch this, what turned out to be a very exciting opening moto. 250s coming up next as this is the final lap for the 125s in our opening moto. Tallon VOHLAND.
I don't think his pace has changed much, Art. I mean, other than being careful through a few lappers, he has charged this entire race.
Coming up on Jason Thomas as the checkered flag will come out. And VOHLAND looks back at him, taking the checkers. Tallon VOHLAND, his second moto win of the year. His first since the second event of the year back in Sacramento. And so it's VOHLAND with the win. Broc Sellards a good steady second place. Casey Johnson a great ride to third. Danny Smith and Antonez in the top 5. Let's get on to Davey.
Oh man, I gotta tell you, Tallon, what a tough moto, but you came through with the win. Congratulations.
Oh, sure, I'd like to thank everybody. I was actually surprised that I got first. You know, I thought I was in third the whole way. The first 2 guys were gone so far. Still this time, I don't know what happened to them. I was just happy to get the points that I got a pretty good start. I went down on the first lap. I was trying a new system on my roll-off, and it didn't work too good, so I had to throw those off before a half a lap was out. And it was kind of a survival race. I felt really good, though. You know, I felt I was one of the fastest riders. I felt Broc was holding me up a little bit once I got by him, but then there's those lappers, and you don't have goggles. It's difficult, but I'm just ecstatic. I'd like to thank Honda and everybody for supporting me. Thor, Parts Unlimited, did a great job for me. And this championship's getting closer now. This is exactly, I knew there'd be a day to come, and I knew that, you know, I've been working hard, and it was kind of a bummer last week, but I said, you know what, every time I go out riding, I'm riding good. It's got to come together for me, and maybe this is the day it's starting.
Well, today was the day that Ricky also got his first bad break of the series, and you picked up a lot of points in that moto.
Yeah, that's why it's a great championship. I think we had a good race down to the end. I'm going to just keep working. Just keep my discipline going, you know, no matter what the situation is, and right now it paid off.
All right, congratulations, Tallon.
Thank you very much.
VOHLAND wins it.
Okay.
Ricky Carmichael, 22nd place. And here's the young man that took second. Broc Sellards. Davey Coombs is moving over toward the victory podium area where he is.
All right, Broc, you said before this race started, you're a mudder, you're from Ohio. You just cashed in with a second.
Yeah, you know, I rode pretty smart out there, but I really didn't ride to my best because in the first turn I busted my front brake, and I had no front brake the whole time. And going down them downhills, I couldn't stop. That's how Tallon got it by me. So I think I should have definitely won that. You know, I should have stayed with McCormick, but I'm happy to just stay up the whole moto and come out here with the second, hopefully come back and win the second moto.
Well, did you know that McCormick, in fact, didn't even finish his bike seized?
Yeah, at the top of the mechanics area, I seen him pull off his bike seized, so he was riding really good. He was out there and he was turning in some good laps, but unfortunately his bike didn't stay running.
Well, good job. We'll let you get ready for the second moto.
Thanks. I'd like to thank everybody at FMF Honda and the whole staff there. They've done a great job, and thanks for keeping my bike good.
Welcome back to Budds Creek, Maryland. Art Ekman, David Bailey, Davey Coombs. The mechanics really making their money here today. The rain has stopped, however, but the muck is still present and the puddles are still there. I noticed several of the riders, like Danny Smith coming up to the line, have some guards over their tires.
There's some right there. They've covered up the knobbies. VOHLAND's using them because they want to keep the mud out from in between all the knobbies. That way when they get up to the starting line, the tire's clean. When they start to spin it, they don't sling mud all over their starting spot and up all over their back. Taking a look at the track map, that nothing much has changed. It's just become a lot more one line out there. But let's take a look at this tabletop. This is also earlier in the day. This is the downhill on the approach. Some braking bumps. A little jump into sort of an off-camber left-hander. A little bit of air time right there. One of the most fun sections out there on the racetrack. Great place to reach up and grab a tearaway.
Those off cameras, though, become very difficult under today's conditions, David.
Just trying to find a berm somewhere, but most of the time when you do find one, you just stick in it. So when you get mud all packed up around your foot peg, the rear brake, they stuff foam and all kinds of different things in there to try to keep that from happening. Once again, the start here, so much more important, I think, than even the first moto, because the first moto was still raining, so the track was basically just sloppy everywhere. Now there is a defined groove that everyone wants, and if you have to slide out of that, you're just stuck spinning in 2 feet of mud.
Ricky Carmichael getting no points out of the first moto, finishing in 22nd. Tallon VOHLAND trying to get closer with every moto. Can he do it again? Can he make a points race out of this 125 situation? Off and running, 125 second moto. Carmichael with a better start this time. Good position as the mud, the roost slaps up into our camera. But oh, look at the domino effect. Casey Johnson, number 16.
He can't even, he's just got to sit there and wait. It's just a stack of bikes.
Going down, Nathan Ramsey. Ramsey was credited with the whole shot, but just like that, he's down and out. And look at this, Kelly Smith on the KTM. He is our new leader after Nathan Ramsey went down just after he got the whole shot.
Art, I'll tell you, it is the best feeling to be leading a race like this. Look at VOHLAND, Ryan Clark getting all collected. VOHLAND tried to make a pass, didn't quite work, but he didn't get passed by anyone else. So just being aggressive, trying to get to the front in a hurry.
Kelly Smith, who had a 32nd in the first moto, is now leading.
Buddy Antonez looks like, got rags flying.
There goes Carmichael in 4th. So Ricky with a much better start here in the second moto as the track has dried out considerably from the first moto. You're right, it's Buddy Antonez up there.
Just kind of recognize the riding style and the riding gear. That's about it. Now it is a lot more difficult for the scores because that mud, as I was pointing out earlier, is going to start to stick more.
Why don't in motocross they have electronic scoring like they have in road racing?
Just thinking that, you know, I mean, I just did a marathon and I had to put a chip on my chair that, you know, it scores you at different checkpoints. They can even check it on the internet and see how I'm doing. People know how I'm doing before I know. So it's like it'd be beneficial in races like this, and I think if we keep pointing it out, somebody will probably have to address that issue.
Well, it's not becoming very easy for us to identify these riders as well as they go through the motions, but we know that's Ricky Carmichael, number 1.
That's the plateau we just looked at.
Whoa, getting good airtime, Kelly Smith. Tallon VOHLAND is in 5th behind Ricky. There's Tallon, number 711.
Getting tough to clear those jumps because you got to find a rut and get up there, and you're getting wheel spin all the way up to takeoff. And you're landing in mud or it's slick. Just fight the bike all the way around the racetrack. It's physically exhausting.
Kelly Smith continues to lead. Buddy Antonez in 2nd place. Broc Sellards right there is in 3rd. With Carmichael in 4th and VOHLAND in 5th. Let's go to Davey.
The weather's getting a little better here early part of the second 125 moto, but once again, I'm afraid the start's going to be a big factor. This time, Ricky Carmichael got out of the gate okay. Casey Johnson did not. Down in a heap in that big pile. However, the first and second place riders from the first moto, Tallon VOHLAND and Broc Sellards, they're right back up there in the top 5. So getting through the first turn twice on a day like this, someone is on Team Honda's side.
Right now, someone's on Kelly Smith's side. As not only did he get a 32nd in the first moto, he failed to qualify at Southwick in the last race, but here he is out there leading. See if he can hold on to the lead.
This is what I was talking about earlier, how you get guys that sort of jump up in there and surprise people in the results a little bit. Kelly Smith leading this race, who'd have thought that? The mud is a perfect opportunity for somebody to slide in there and grab a great result.
Buddy Antonez, another example of what you were talking about, David. We'll be right back with more 125 action. We return to a slippery, wet, muddy track at Budds Creek, Maryland. Art Ekman, David Bailey, and Davey Coombs coming your way. Second moto of the 125s, and Ricky Carmichael in much better position this time than he did crashing early in the first moto.
He was right there, though, following, just soaking up that roost. He's going to have to make a pass pretty quick. He's going to lose all his vision.
One of the most impressive performances so far, and look at that. Carmichael, the block pass into Broc Sellards.
Well, that was just an aggressive move down the inside. Good thing that berm was big enough to stop him. wonder, and he's following him pretty close. He's still got his goggles right now. If you follow somebody for a half a lap sometimes, and it just ruins them. You got to take them off. So it's a gamble.
Little drier track. Do you think Ricky Carmichael now in third place feels more aggressive?
You know, I'll tell you what, Art, I think that we don't give him enough credit for how great of a rider he is. I'm sure that if he didn't go down the first corner in the first moto, he probably could have caught up and been a threat. Here, I know he's got something to prove. Definitely needs the points back. Here's another look at how he made his pass. Look at that. Just slid right in there. Kind of used him for a berm, along with the berm to make that pass stick.
And then to add insult to injury, puts the roost right up into his face. Ricky Carmichael's wrencher, Chad Watts, told us before the race that there's almost twice the amount of work to get done in a day like this with the same amount of time.
The hardest day to get ready for is a mud day by far. You can change the motor around a little bit, suspension, because the mud's going to make it heavy, so you need to stiffen it up a little bit. And you want your bike to run a little bit cooler, so jetting and tires.
Chad Watts started his career in 1988 at Barr's Competition Performance Shop in North Carolina. He caught on with Team Green, working with Mike Brown, Ryan Hughes, Mikel Pichon, and now Ricky Carmichael. Who was the easiest to work with?
Probably Ricky, and Rhino wasn't far behind Ricky at all. Both of them are pretty easy.
The toughest to work with isn't riding in America anymore, but there's one thing for sure. Chad has worked with his share of champions. Where does he hang the #1 place?
Don't hang them, it's bad luck. You lean them. You hang them when you get done wrenching. But I have two 125 East Coast and two 125 Nationals right now.
Oddly enough, Chad has never been a motocross competitor.
I'm no good at riding a motorcycle. I've raced a couple times out in California, and I don't even need to be on one. So, no, don't do it.
When RC's days are over, that might just be the time for Chad to hang him up as well.
I hope to do it till he's done, and then I would like to move on to where I can be at home and not have to travel so much. I enjoy what I do, but one day I want to, family, kids. I'm young right now, but of course everybody wants that. Then you want to be at home. You don't want to do this. But right now, I have no regrets in what I do.
Well, he certainly does what he does very well for Ricky Carmichael. As we take a look at our leader, Kelly Smith, who's led quite a few laps after taking over the lead.
Looking good, Art. He's looking aggressive. Right in that main line. No goggles, though. I mean, shoot, he joins a long list of guys without goggles, but that's always a little bit risky.
Our Suzuki stopwatch. Let's check the interval between Kelly Smith and the top 5 as they go through our picture. Buddy Antunez, Ricky Carmichael, Tallon VOHLAND, some 8.5 seconds behind the leader. And a big gap back to 5th with Broc Sellards.
I think the way Broc rode that first moto and his confidence, he probably closed on that lead pack. Here's Nick Way getting a fresh pair of goggles and gloves. Check that out. While he's getting new gloves, they're wiping off the grips. Nothing's more frustrating than to try to turn that throttle and you can't because your hands spin on the grip.
Haven't heard much from Nick Way since he hit the podium with the 2nd overall at Glen Helen in the season's opener. Here's Kelly Smith now starting to get some pressure as Buddy Antunez has a lapper between him and first place. And Ricky Carmichael is just being very patient.
Keeping the pressure on. He's trying to choose a different line, but look how crummy that line is. Just oatmeal out there.
Very similar to what Roger DaCosta described earlier. Let's go to Davey.
And I got to tell you, you're one of the guys I really wasn't expecting to talk to. Buddy Antunez, he's short, he's from California. That is not the perfect makeup for a mud rider, but right now he's riding a solid 2nd.
Yeah, he's doing pretty good. We got a 5th the first moto. This will be, hopefully, knock on wood, this will be our best 2 motos of the year. Hey, what can I say? He was froggy here in 96, maybe 99's lucky too.
Buddy Antunez, 3-time Arena Cross champion, trying to catch a ride for next year on the Supercross motocross scene. Ed Longacre, his longtime friend and wrencher, behind him. As we see Buddy weeding his way through the mud, and there goes Ricky Carmichael. Oh, he clips a wheel there. Ricky Carmichael moving into 2nd place. And he's not that far away from Kelly Smith, who's led a majority of laps here.
That first moto was awful for him. He is doing whatever he's got to do to get up there and get those points back, get a moto win, and get VOHLAND off his back.
Uh-oh, Matt Walker down in the mud.
That's too bad, I mean, he had the first moto lead, pulled off with what looked like bike problems, and that just gave him the worst pick to the gate for the 2nd moto, and Obviously, it didn't help his starting position, so the whole day just went south from that first moto mishap.
Carmichael having a few problems through that area, now losing some time to Kelly Smith. Tallon VOHLAND just passing now. Buddy Anthonez moves into third.
Carmichael takes a look over his shoulder and notices that.
The points lead at stake, maybe? Maybe later in the season as Tallon VOHLAND tries to catch up with this young man.
Here's another look at the move for second place. Buddy Anthonez going down in the great line if you're by yourself, but you got Carmichael on your tail, you got to protect that inside. He comes down, clips the front wheel of Buddy, takes over second.
And here's our leader, Kelly Smith, trying to hold off the great two-time 125 National Outdoor Champion, Ricky Carmichael.
That is not going to be easy, but I have a feeling Kelly will fight. He's not going to just roll over and die here. He's going to protect this thing. He's a great mud rider. He's had the lead this long. He's not going to want to give it up. He doesn't care who that is back there.
Take a look at the Suzuki top five. Carmichael second, VOHLAND, Anthonez, Sellards. Let's go back down to Davey now, who's in the mechanics area. Davey.
Mike, before the race started, I was talking about the best mud riders, and we were throwing around our bench racing ideas of who would win, and you know what? I completely forgot about Kelly. My God, is he good in the mud.
Yeah, he seems to be pretty comfortable there. He was did real well at Southwick last year in the mud. Kind of had some bad luck this year, but was really looking forward to a real serious mud race, which I don't get paid any extra for, but he was sure looking for a chance to see what he could do in the slop. So,
hey, where is your pit board? I've noticed you're just out there getting him hand signals.
Well, he was down for about 2 or 3 laps the first moto. Couldn't get the bike started, so I didn't even figure anything was going to be a factor this moto. So.
Maybe he does better without his mechanics advice on a pit board. Kelly Smith, who felt he got robbed, of course, of his very first Supercross 125 victory, and St. Louis led every lap but the last lap when Fonseca overtook him. Now he's got Carmichael on his tail as he tries for his very first national outdoor victory. Seems like whenever he gets out in front, he's got a champion right behind him. Let's turn back the pages of history. For this week's Suzuki Flashback, we're looking at the 1991 125 National from Budds Creek, Maryland. Guy Cooper, the 1990 125 champion, makes the pass for first, almost going over the bars. Cooper would pace the field to win Moto number 1. Moto number 2 was a battle for Cooper with number 4, Mike Pietrowski. Mike lost the 90 championship by only 1 point to Cooper. Cooper, riding a Suzuki, would take the overall for the 4th win and 5 on the year, but would fall short in the championship standings, allowing Pietrowski to take the 91 125 National Championship by only 16 points. And that's this week's Suzuki Flashback. Cooper winning that year, but Mike Pietrowski winning the 2 years before that at Budds Creek as they started the series 125 series here back in 1989. Here's the battle for first place now for 1999, and it's a good one. Kelly Smith, the 2-lap board is out, and here comes Carmichael to the inside, a clean pass. Carmichael getting by Kelly Smith, who tries to go up high on the off camber, but it doesn't work.
It was a beautiful move by Carmichael to anticipate. Kind of set himself up so he could square down, use that line to cut off Kelly Smith. Smith came out of the corner before fast. I thought he pretty much had it covered, but Carmichael making that move work for him again. The same place he took over second from Anthony.
Looks like our camera is going to have a DNF before this is over right now, as the weather conditions have certainly taken a toll on our great camera crew. So Ricky Carmichael now is back in an accustomed first place after a no points first moto.
It'll feel good to finish the day off with a moto win if he can hang on to it here, but he's definitely going to give up some points to VOHLAND.
He came into this race winning 7 of the 8 motos run prior. Another look at the pass.
Well, Kelly Smith has taken what normally would be the greatest line through the outside, square, cut right up across the inside, but Carmichael's line runs right across. Doesn't really even have to hit his front wheel, makes that pass clean. Works again, 2 times in a row. Reach for pass for second, then for the lead.
Time's running out for the rest of the riders as Ricky Carmichael looking forward to his 8th moto win in 10 tries.
Pretty good record.
Unbelievable record when you consider he's trying to do in 3 years what Mark Barnett did in 7 seasons. Of course, Mark Barnett had a couple of other things against him. One, He had 7, 8 races a year sometimes, rather than the 13 and 12 that Ricky Carmichael's had. But he's also, as Brandon Jessamine goes down, and gets some help getting the bike back up. Mark Barnett also had Johnny O'Mara, Ron Lachine, Jeff Ward, Rick Johnson, and of course the 3-time 125 champion Brock Glover. It was Glover's record of 14 wins that Mark Barnett destroyed, winning 25, and that's the mark, of course, that Ricky Carmichael's trying to beat this year. Tallon VOHLAND, he's done a great job today.
Getting that first moto win has to feel good to break through finally. It's going to be a little bit of a bummer to not be able to get the second one with Carmichael out front, but great day for him anyway.
Hope you'll be able to join us trackside in an upcoming event. We'll be right back with more 125 action. Welcome back to Budds Creek. White flag lap for Ricky Carmichael, who certainly has shown that even though he hates rain and had a bad first moto appearance, he's certainly come back with a lot of toughness here in the second moto.
I think just fire. He does not like to lose. He definitely wants this title. He wants to win every race. That's not going to happen here today.
Duck walking through some of the mud.
It's an effort to just go around every single corner. He's looking over his shoulder. That's his own pit board. He doesn't want to wait till the signal area. Look how one line this track has become. Usually they try to use the dozers to get out there and sort of get rid of all the muck, give these guys more than one place to go, but the dozers make more of a mess, so they can't even touch this place.
Ricky Carmichael comes up. He can see the checkered flag and the fans raising their umbrellas as well as Ricky Carmichael takes the second moto of the 125s. He's lost a lot of points, though, as far as the points race is concerned, because Tallon VOHLAND has a good finish here in the second moto. Looking back at Kelly Smith in second place, Tallon VOHLAND coming right after him. Carmichael, Smith, and VOHLAND are top 3 in the second moto, with Buddy Antunez in 4th. Broc Sellards rounding out the top 5. He'll get a good overall position because of his 5th place. Stefan Roncada also finishing in the top 10.
Well, Rick, I got to tell you, the way you came back in that second moto, anyone who slags you off for not being a mud rider, that was an unbelievable ride. Congratulations.
Thanks, Davey. Things didn't go the way I wanted to the first moto. I wrecked on the first turn, and the second moto I got a better start and showed these guys that I am a pretty good mud rider. I worked my way up to the front and had to lose my goggles there towards the end. I couldn't see, it started fogging up, but that's the way it goes, you know. I lost some points in the first moto, but I'm going to try to work my way back up to putting that big points gap.
In that second moto, what were you thinking whenever Chad put the board down and it said Smith +4, Smith +2? Were you thinking, who in the world's Smith?
Actually, I seen him. He got the whole shot on me, and you know, he did a good job. But you know, it's tough out there. You know, not when you being the first time to ever win a national, and the pressure can get tough on you. But I don't know what happened. But all I know is I was trying to hold my own out there.
Well, you held it up. You got the moto win, and again, way to respond like a champion.
Thanks. I'd like to thank Kawasaki, you know, Pro Surrogate, and my mechanic Chad Watts for doing a great job.
But it's congratulations to Tallon VOHLAND for his first 125 National Outdoor victory. Broc Sellards equaling his best finish of the year, and Buddy Antunez on the podium for the first time. Let's hear from the winner himself. Back down to Davey.
Well, Tallon, this is what you've been working for. This has been riding for. It finally came together with your first overall win, your first national win ever.
Yeah, it's great. I feel really good. I'm really happy. You know, I was waiting for this time to come. You know, Ricky's been riding really good. He had a lot of momentum going. He had a lot of things going his way. I've been working really hard, and I know eventually it's going to pay off, you know. So this gives me new motivation, being a lot more closer in the points. I wanted to beat him that moto and get some more points away, but in this situation, what are you going to do, you know? I mean, once I threw my goggles, it was over, so I just kind of settled in, and then I smashed my pipe with like 3 laps to go, so I just had to ride around. But I'm really happy. Win overall. I got the most points of anybody today. That's all that matters. I'm just counting points right now.
Well, what about your brother, Tyson? We were watching him up in the mechanics area. I think he was having more fun than you were.
Well, you know, we have a really close relationship. We've worked a lot of years together, and we talk about, we even dream about what we got to do to win the next race, you know. And it's great to have somebody that truly has your best interest at heart, and my brother I know does. So we work really good together, and we fought for a lot of championships. Haven't won one yet, but like, you just have to keep your discipline going. Eventually, one of these days, you'll get one. Guy Cooper got one, so I figure I can too.
Congratulations to you, the VOHLAND family, the whole FMF Honda team.
Tallon's got reason to smile. He shaved 20 points off the lead by Ricky Carmichael. Kelly Smith got no points in the first moto, but he almost won the second. Let's go back to Davey, who's with him right now.
Well, Kelly, it is a pleasure to finally speak to you under these circumstances. Congratulations, man. So close.
Yeah, I got a good start finally. Got off the cement. I've been struggling on the cement start gates. And then just finally put it together, stayed up on 2 wheels. Didn't have any weird incidents.
I was talking to your mechanic during the race. It was such a shock to him. You're up there. He didn't even bring a pit board over. He didn't think you were going to be a factor. But man, you showed him you're from the Michigan Mafia. You could ride in the mud, and you know it's got to make up a little bit of what happened earlier in the year in the St. Louis Supercross.
Yeah, it's good to be back up on top and show everyone how KTM's a great bike and can do it just like anyone else. We just need the riders, and we're going to put that together for next year. And I hope my mechanic gets some airtime so he's red in the face.
So a fascinating 125 show ends with Tallon VOHLAND, the overall win, his first national 125 victory in his career. Ricky Carmichael fighting back to take the second moto and a 6th overall despite no points in the opening moto. Carmichael continuing to lead the 125 points.